Hey, we on.
Yeah, we on.
Hey, everybody.
My rotation.
Don't do rotation.
I like my rotation.
Rotation issues.
No, wait.
Sometimes you don't need to rotate. Sometimes you need to be upright.
My rotation is not doing it. That's why. You need to be upright. Did you say that? Hey, Trivia. Hey.
Thanks, Trivia. Give us that.
Hey, James Hall. You gonna come get your laptop? I need to come give it to you. Tell me where you want me. I'll meet you tomorrow. Bring you your laptop.
Don't believe that.
Hey, George Brandon Booth. GBB. GBB. I'm trying to make, like, what's his name? Come on. No, the Looney Tune, the cartoon.
It's Barney.
Come on, Boo Boo. Boo Boo. What's his name in Boo Boo? Come on, Boo Boo. Hey, Daddy.
Mr. WF.
Hi, Daddy. Hey, Reese. Hey, everybody. For those that are up here, let me see your thumbs up. Let me see your big old red hearts. Let me see some smiley faces. How are you doing tonight? How are you doing? How are you feeling? How are things going? While people are chiming in, while people are coming in, let's see the hearts, love. Let's see the thumbs up.
Mr. Waddell for the night. You gotta close your ears.
Yeah, the whole government name, George. George Brendan Booth, GBB. Okay, good. So, yes. Hey, Latrice Danielle. Hey, Latrice Danielle. For those who do not know Latrice Danielle, get to know Latrice Danielle. She is the infamous lady, the anointed woman, the prophetess, the chocolate wonder. Latrice Danielle is the lady that is hosting I Chose Them Family Conference in Greenville, North Carolina on June 21st and June 22nd. That is our very first conference that we are going to. So we are so excited about it.
Say it all over again.
Why?
Say it all over again.
Why? Did I mess it up?
Say it all over again, please.
Okay. So for those who do not know, hey, Arthur, we miss you too. For those who do not know Latrice Danielle, get to know Latrice Danielle. She's an awesome woman of God. Huh? Excuse us, we are experiencing technical difficulties.
Don't call me.
And I have to repeat myself. Rewind. That don't sound like the rewind, do it?
No, it sounds horrible. Not good.
Hey, everybody. Hey, Mrs. Crenshaw, Norma Crenshaw. I love you. I miss you. I miss you. I think TJ wants me to say it again. You ready?
Yeah, hold tight. Just hold.
Okay, well, I'll say it later. I'll say it again later. But for those who are up here, how are you doing? How has your day been? Tell me, how has your day been? How are you feeling? How has your week been? You feeling great? You feeling encouraged? You feel empowered? Or has it been a hard week? You've been struggling, just can't get it together, just like, whatever. You know, some days, I woke up the other day, I was so freaking sleepy. I was just out of it. And I woke up and I sat up and I said, is my life important? Like, I was so dazed. Like, do I have a job? Like, why am I here? Like, I was so dazed. But anyway, I'm doing good. I'm doing great. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. And on tonight, we have a great discussion I want to talk about. I was trying to wait till my husband get ready. I'm stalling for a little bit.
Let's go.
All right, let's go. Welcome to Thursday Love with TJ and Sherrie. Another great night for a great discussion. And so on tonight, once again, I want to give a shout out to everybody that we love you guys. We're praying for you. I hope all is well. Also, I said earlier that Latrice Danielle, she's up here. Latrice Danielle is the awesome anointed woman of God who is hosting the I Chose Them Family Conference. And we are going. We're excited about going. It's our very first workshop that we're doing. And we're so excited to go into the environment because it's not just for women and men, it's for the whole family. And so it's going to be June 21st and June 22nd in the great big city of Greenville, North Carolina, back at home. And so we're so looking forward to it. If you are free, we ask that you do come. But if not, pray for us because we're so excited for what the great things that God is doing, not only for the conference and in Danielle, but also for what he's doing for Thursday Love. So With that being said, on tonight, hey Thurman, how you doing, Crofton? I love you, brother. On tonight we have a discussion. It's kind of serious. We're not gonna. It's not gonna go too far. We're gonna keep it together. But I think
keep it clean as a daddy.
We're gonna try to keep it clean. I got to be respectful of my daddy. That's up here. But but I just want to keep it respectful anyway. But it's a good topic. I think that should be discussed, really amongst couples. And so tonight the topic is affection, intimacy, and sex.
Close your ears with what else?
Affection, intimacy, and sex.
Intimate, I like that.
What is the difference?
Intimate.
What is the difference? And is it important to know the difference? And how does it affect you and your relationship? So tonight we are talking about affection, intimacy, and sex. Now, is there a difference? You believe there's a difference?
I'm about to find out.
So for those that are up here, we're talking about affection, intimacy, and sex. Do you believe there's a difference between affection, intimacy, and sex? Do you believe there's a difference? If so, please explain. Hey, Crystal, my light sister, love you. Oh wow, that's loud. There is really a difference, and I want to hear y'all opinion before I really got started and talking about it. I'm gonna ask the question, but I'm gonna wait till y'all chime in a little bit because y'all know how we do. We chit chatting here. Thurman said it can tear a relationship apart quick.
Ooh, yeah.
What can tear a relationship apart quick? The affection, the intimacy, or the sex, or all three, or 2 out of the 3? Like, I really want to know. I really want to hear your thoughts about what you think about affection, intimacy, and sex. And we're just gonna dialogue about it. What are your thoughts concerning it? You don't have to be very transparent on tonight, unless you just feel like you need to be. But what are your thoughts about affection, intimacy, and sex when it's concerning you and your relationship with your spouse, or for those who are engaged, or those who were married at one time and now you're divorced? Whoever. What are your thoughts? I don't care. What are your thoughts?
Thurman said, holding back any of it.
Holding back any of it, it can tear a relationship. I agree. Holding back any of it. So hold that thought, Thurman, because we are gonna go on. We're gonna touch on that. Holding back any of it can tear a relationship. I do agree. How do you feel? What are your thoughts on affection, intimacy, and sex?
Well,
and how it affects your relationship or who you are.
If I want to talk about intimacy, if I hadn't been, I think we talked about it once before. Like the way I grew up where basically, as long as you was in the household and you were healthy, you had the food, you had your clothes, you had the what is it called, what is it, Haslow? Is it Haslow? Is that whatever the dude's name is? Haslow hierarchy of needs. I think it's Haslow. Who? Maslow. Whatever it is. Maslow, Haslow, whatever. As long as you had the Maslow, Haslow hierarchy of needs, which is the basic stuff that you need. Your food, your clothes, that the basic stuff. As long as you had the basic stuff, you were good. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I didn't grow up with a whole lot of, hugging and kissing and all that stuff. No.
So you're talking about the affection type of it. Okay.
We weren't affectionate like that. So when I met Sherrie, she was, you had to hug her. She wanted me to hold hands in public. All that mushy, good old great stuff. Mm-hmm. And so, being that, like I said, I wasn't somebody who was used to that. It was like foreign territory to me. I mean, to mind you, I knew the right time to do that stuff, but it ain't always been said, but I knew the right time to do that, but I just wasn't that type of person until I met Sherrie. And Sherrie was an affectionate, you know what I'm saying? She believed in hugging and holding hands in public and that kind of stuff. So
EDA, baby.
Yeah, the public display of attention and
affection,
whatever the one of public display of affection. So, after we got married, that's what she wanted. And I can say this, if I hadn't become affectionate, we wouldn't have Thursday Love. Let me say that. We wouldn't be married because that was one of her needs. Like she needed that. That was something she expected. So either I, conform to what she wanted, or I was going to be signing some papers. But like I said, years later, man, conforming to that, I realized that I actually love it. And then sometimes she found herself being the cold one or the shallow one, if you want to call it. But
yeah, I think we switched.
I can say that if I hadn't learned how to do that,
hey, Rhonda,
I would have been a pitiful father, because not only do I have a wife who's a woman who loves affection, but now I got 3 daughters who all they want to do is hug and sit on top. They just affectionate kids. They're loving kids. So if I hadn't gave in to that, I would have been pitiful as a father.
Yeah. So all right, I'm gonna go back real quick. George made a good. Hey, for everybody who just joined us, great. I'm glad you're up here tonight. We're talking about affection, intimacy, and sex. What is the difference, and how does it relate to you and your relationship?
Thank you, Norma.
So George, yeah, a few of them said Maslow for you. George says sex is simply an act. Intimacy is the connection to your partner. Just his opinion. Okay, and so Thurman said, "Dang, I'm around a lot of people and I can't get into this line. I won't."
Move, Thurman. Hey, sometimes Yolanda. You gotta come out from among them and be separate.
Yeah, Trivia said my husband wasn't affectionate in the beginning. Okay, Taquasia. Hey, Taquasia. She says some may say sex is a feeling and intimacy is the emotional, vice versa. Good. Yeah, I want to hear your thoughts. Before I get into what I've written down for tonight. Because we're not gonna be here too long, but we're just gonna touch on these.
Say it all the time.
We're gonna touch on these words, these adjectives.
We'll touch on them and then we'll come back and go into further detail about it.
Yeah,
because I don't mind. I mean, I don't mind talking a little bit.
Yeah, so we just want to hear your thoughts of what is affection to you? What is intimacy to you? What is sex to you? You know what I'm saying? And for those that are up here, you don't have to be transparent. You don't have to go all in your details with your sex.
If you don't want to.
If you don't want to, if you don't feel comfortable. Because we're not going to go all the way in. But we just want to touch on it because, this is the part of your relationship that a lot of people keep private or should keep private. But at the same time, it is very vital and is very important to your relationship. Trust is important in your relationship. Communication is important, very important in your relationship. Honesty and so forth. And those areas relate to these areas that we're talking about tonight. Affection, intimacy, and sex.
So Trivia in Booth, Booth, says for a long time, he kept introducing me as a
friend.
For a long time, he kept introducing me as a friend, George. And never his girlfriend. He didn't do that holding hands and kissing in public either. See, I ain't by myself. Hey, Jay.
Hey, Jay Michael.
Yeah, I ain't by myself.
Yeah. So on tonight, we want to know your thoughts. For those who are joining in, we want to know your thoughts. What is your definition of affection, intimacy, and sex? And do you believe there's a difference? And can you do one without the other? And how important is it to you in your relationship?
Do one without the other.
Yeah, you can do. But I want to hear from the people before we started talking.
Oh.
I want to hear their thoughts on affection, intimacy, and sex, and how important is it in our relationship? Is it important in our relationship, all 3 of them, or just 1 or 2?
Sex, what?
Is it important in our relationship?
Yes, all 3 are important.
Now, when we were dating, would you say all 3 was important?
Your daddy is on this live.
Daddy, if you still up there, say hi. Do a thumb up. Just hit the thumb. Hey, Kareem. I think my daddy know we were grown. I just said it wasn't important. I didn't say give a detail. I said it wasn't important when we were dating.
But I can't lie. I'm an honest man. There were some things that were important when we were dating.
And Jay Michael said, is it a sin for you not to have sex when you're married? That is a good question, but the Bible talks about something of that. What you want to say?
Is it a sin to not have sex? It's whatever y'all discuss. But my thing is, why are you married if you're not going to become intimate? Because the bed is not defiled. You know what I'm saying? Anything that you decide to do, you can do. But what's the purpose of being married and not being intimate? It's like having a relationship with God, but not worshiping. That's your point. It helps strengthen and build your relationship. That's your worshipful word. That's your worshipful consummation. Like that's what seals the deal. You know what I'm saying? So to be married to, it's like having $1 million but not spending any of it. Makes no sense.
Really, TJ?
I mean, seriously, it makes no sense. So I'm not gonna say it's a sin to not have sex, but I think it's dumb to be married and not. Because I mean, that's the whole purpose of you holding yourself, you know what I'm saying, until marriage, because marriage is something. I mean, that is something that's honorable, to be a virgin, to lose yourself for the first time, but to be married and got a chastity belt on.
Well, Bishop Elder J. Michael, Pastor Prophet J. Michael took it biblically, and no, I do not know the scripture. I've heard it in passing, but I don't think it's a sin not to have sex in a marriage. Because if you communicate with each other and y'all agree upon that,
I rose up here. We gotta be careful.
Yeah, if y'all agree upon that, then that's y'all agreement. Then you're fine. Because I don't know exactly where, and I don't know where exactly it says it, but it talks about like if you ask of me, I do not withhold it from you, and vice versa, except when we're consecrating or fasting.
And I know you can't take it from her. If she say no,
yeah,
you know, especially with this new law.
So I'm not gonna sit here and get all deep and biblical like I know, because I really don't. But if I recall correctly from what I read it, but it was a minute ago. I didn't study or teach on it, but it was something to that effect. But I don't think it's a sin if you do not have sex.
Yeah, she do too.
But yeah,
Yolanda said,
"Hey, Rara, hey, Rosa."
Affection and intimacy are very important. Honestly, makes
makes sex better.
Affection and intimacy are I'm sorry, I'm not saying it right. Affection and intimacy are very important. Mm-hmm. It honestly makes sex better. The intimacy for me makes me feel wanted.
Awesome. Hey, Linnell. Hey, Lo. Tonight we're talking about affection, intimacy, and sex. Affection, intimacy, and sex. What is the difference? And do you feel like it plays a vital role in your relationship with your spouse or who you're dating? Is it important to you? Is all three of them important to you, or you just need one component?
You're in good timing, Lolita. You're in great time.
She said, "Oh man, I'm late on this one." But I wanted to hear everybody's thoughts, and you didn't answer my question.
Which was?
My question was, do you think affection, intimacy, and sex were important when we were dating? Did you think all three were important when we were dating?
I did.
Okay, be honest.
Because now I thought of course in most places you think the sex stuff is important. It was sex, intimacy, and what was the last one? Affection. I didn't think that affection was important because I just explained.
Right.
And affection is a part of intimacy, because here's the deal too. Most people, or most men, quote unquote, equates sex with intimacy. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? We think just because, we do the wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, that we've been intimate with the woman. Mm-hmm. When technically sex is like, it's the final thing. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? There are multiple steps that you go through, or there are multiple steps to take before you before. It's like a apostle used an example. Part of pastoring, 2% of pastoring is being behind the pulpit. Mm-hmm. But the other 98% is administration. It is everything else that it takes to get there. Right. And that's the same thing I view with sex or intimacy, quote unquote. 2% of that is sex. It's a great 2%. I mean, you see stars and 4th of July. It is a great 2%. But there's 98% that you're missing that can make that 2% the best thing in the world. Right. But a lot of us, and I can speak for men, and it may be some men that are on that just is irrelevant to you. But most men think that, like I said, that 2% is that 98%. Yeah. When technically it's backwards. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So the 98% is the intimacy.
Okay.
So until we meet somebody like you to say, hey, you got this thing screwed, you got to re-examine this thing because you got it wrong.
Right.
And then we have us, first of all, we in denial because we think you don't know what you're talking about. When technically, actually, you're right. Like I said, the 98% is the intimacy, 2% is the sex.
Okay, great.
Or the 2% is the sex and the 98% is the
affection and
intimacy.
Okay, so George said it was very hard for me to be affectionate in public. I would have to say that it was a cultural thing. My family wasn't the affectionate type growing up, so being in a relationship and being married was an adjustment. She brought me out of my shell. All right, that's good. So then Trivia said affection, a way of showing concern or love, intimacy between two people. Sex is the physical act that involves affection and intimacy. I think you just Googled that trivia. You Googled that.
Either way, it's good answer.
Either way, it's a good answer. For those that are up here, thank you for joining Thursday Love on Tonight. Tonight we're talking about affection, intimacy, and sex. Is there a difference? And is it important in your relationship, in your marriage? Is it important to you? And so we just wanted to get people's feedback of what they thought affection was to them, or intimacy and sex.
That's a great point, TT.
You know, yeah.
That's a great point.
She said,
Trivia said the relationship will fail without all three. And TT said it's like the Trinity.
That's
must have all three. And that's the thing. Yes, you must have all three. If not, man, it is going to be an imbalance. Like, you can't have sex all the time, because after a while, the woman gonna get tired of that. She gonna get tired of that. Because, I mean,
y'all get into my notes.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. Because so as a well, I was never a player. But if you're gonna run game, and honestly, man, in this generation, you know, maybe when I was growing up, they always talk about the men being the dogs. But in this generation too, you got women who got some four legs too. So you got some women who are just as rambunctious and just out the gate as men.
They play the game.
They play the game, basically.
They play the game.
So as if you when you see a chick that you like, you know what I'm saying? She got the breast that you like, and she got the butt that you like, and she got the face that you like, and she's actually a man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you automatically, once you see her, you automatically put game in. You put game in play. This is what I'm gonna say. This is what I'm gonna do. This is how I'm gonna do it, and this is the time that I'm gonna tap it by. You know what I'm saying? You got your whole timeline, and short term and long term goals. And if you're playing the game, your short term goal was to hit it, and your long term goal ain't to last. Because all you're trying to do is hit it and move on to the next. That's just how the game is. Sorry. So when you really it is. So when you're playing the game, you're not thinking about intimacy,
right?
Or what you will do to get her mind or to get his mind is to give them a false sense of intimacy and a false sense of what's the last one I keep forgetting?
Affection.
Yeah, you give them a false sense of affection and a false sense of security just to get the cookie. Because all you're going to do is you're going to pull out the weak areas within that female, and you're going to, whatever the area is weak in that female, you're going to be that strength for that area. Right. So if she's a woman who's not used to affection, you're going to give her a false sense of affection just to open her heart up. Or she's not used to the other one, you're going to give her a false sense of it. Because all you want is the sex.
Right.
That's it.
Right. The ultimate.
The
ultimate orgasm.
Well. Then some of it ain't as good. Well, all right. Hold on.
Okay, no, they just agree and stuff.
Okay.
All right, so pretty much
George said, God, we thank you for the physical act.
And so with that being said, trivia pretty much said it. I think she Googled it. But anyway, basically, like she said, affection means fond attachment, a devotion, a love. So you can be affectionate with friends, you can be affectionate with family members, you can be affectionate with your spouse. Affection is basically like you like to love on each other. You can cook breakfast, showing.
Y'all saw that we kissed live on Facebook.
You can cook breakfast for someone. It's basically showing love to someone. You know, giving them a hug. It's just some type of affection. It doesn't necessarily have to be physical. It can be, like I said, cooking breakfast or doing the car, doing the laundry or something. That's some type of affection. It could be. It doesn't necessarily have to be physical. You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't say if it's a type of affection. I would say it's a form of intimacy.
No,
I would say so because
I mean it's a blurred line. But
here's the thing, right? Okay, yes, ma'am. See, we have an intimacy now. It's an intimate conversation.
Okay, so affection is basically showing concern for a person, showing concern, showing love for somebody. Acts of affection is because we care about someone. It's not necessarily an intimate situation. It's just you showing that you care and you love someone.
What I mean by I don't mean by intimate as in what I mean by it's so for instance,
and that's why there's a blurred line with affection and intimacy, because a lot of people like to blur that line.
But here's the deal. So if, say for instance, you like me watching your car, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we get up a Saturday morning and you wake up and I'm outside watching your car. What's the first thing you're gonna feel?
I'm feel love.
You're gonna feel love. What is a part of intimacy?
A part of affection is showing concern and love for someone.
Well, how about intimacy?
It's just a familiar, usually affectionate, a loving, personal relationship.
Okay. So when I wash your car, how's it gonna make you? What is it gonna do to us personally?
It brings about intimacy, but affection is not intimacy. See, that's what I'm saying. There's a difference.
But that's why we have this conversation.
Exactly. That there's a difference between affection and intimacy. Now, affection also is willing to go out of your way to show affection without a requirement in return. So basically, I do an act of kindness or I do an act of care for you, and I don't look for it back. That's just my way of showing affection or care for you or love for you. That's the thing about affection. And that's why I say it don't necessarily have to be with a relationship. It can be for family. It could be for friends. You know what I'm saying? We show affection one to another. It's a type of bond, devotion, a type of love. Yeah. Whereas intimacy, okay, so intimacy is a close or familiar, usually affectionate. Now, the key word is funny. It's funny when the definition of affection has love in it and devotion, whereas intimacy has the actual word affection in it. So intimacy is a loving personal relationship with another person. So you can be affectionate without being intimate. So it's not saying you can't be intimate and affectionate, but that's the thing is you can be very affectionate to someone without any intimacy in it.
I agree. That's playing the game.
Yeah, intimacy is basically reserved for couples. Intimacy is more, it's kind of stereotypical.
You can't be intimate with yourself.
That's nasty.
I'm just saying.
It's a closeness that is shared with each other. You can share inner thoughts. It's also where the intimacy where your bodies fit together. Basically,
what is it?
It's not sexual intercourse. I can be intimate with you and do certain things for you that will cause intimacy, like running me a bubble bath. That is intimate. That is very intimate. Now you do that, you get a nice hot bubble bath, a deep tissue massage between us. That's what makes it intimate.
How about taking a walk with you?
Taking a walk with me, it can be intimate.
How about watching movies?
No, that's more like affection. No, it depends on what we watching.
We don't watch porn.
We don't watch porn. Oh, Lord Jesus. I wasn't saying that. I was just saying.
I mean, what you said with a smile that gave people to just, the perception.
And trivia is right. There's different types of intimacy. You have affection, but there's different types of intimacy. But with this one that we're talking about is more the intimacy between a couple.
We'll come back next week and talk about different types.
Well, no, next week you're doing the Father's Day.
Oh, that is true. Hold on. Pause. Sorry, this is just out of order. So look, check this out. Next Thursday at which is the 13th at 9:00, I'm going to do a father's segment on Thursday Love. So women, I need y'all to join in too, because
just the men.
You don't have to join in.
It's a men's only club.
What is wrong for the women to join in?
No.
Yes, women, you can join in.
Comment.
No, women, you can join in to see some of the feelings and some of the passions that men have. So those who are married, those that have fathers, you'll know how to touch us in a different way. That's what I mean. I'm not saying you got to sit there and comment, but sometimes it's good to hear things from a man's point of view as far as fatherhood and so forth and so on. I walked in Walmart today and I saw 2 shelves of Father Day stuff. There were no balloons. But anyway, go back to the story.
Okay. Thank you for that 2-minute announcement. So back to being affectionate. So the thing is, like TJ said earlier, he was not affectionate. George even mentioned it. He was not affectionate. How many up here were affectionate when you were dating? How many were you affectionate? Yeah, men and women. How many were affectionate when you became married? Because I was affectionate. My dad, if he's still up here, my dad, he showed me love. He hugged on me. He kissed on me. He loved on me. He was very affectionate dad. He was a touchy-feely dad. Not that kind of touchy-feely. I don't want y'all thinking that. Don't go south with me. But just, what I'm saying? He was hands-on. And so he was, that was his way of showing love. And I've passed it on because I've got into my relationship. I'm affectionate. I love hugs. I love kisses. I love cuddling, getting under the blankets and playing and stuff.
Cold feet, like icicles.
I like stuff like that.
Taking all the cover.
And I passed it on to my kids. I kiss on my kids all the time. I give them little Zerbits on their cheeks and hug on them and play with them. I do. I love on my kids. That's my way of being affectionate.
Sometimes I show Sherrie a little bit too much affection because I play too much.
Yeah, and that's just being
But
aggravated.
hey, that's just me.
That's just being aggravated.
That's my PDA.
Yeah. But intimacy, it can lead, when you're affectionate about it and you're with your spouse, it can lead to other things. Now, intimacy.
So would you say that? Which one would you say leads to what?
I think it takes affection and intimacy to lead to sex.
So do you think?
But even though one can do it though.
So do you say that affection leads to intimacy and then intimacy leads to sex?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's better. You can't have one without the other, but I think it's more powerful. Yeah, it's especially if you're in a relationship, and that's the thing that we're trying to get to. If you're married,
it's like being saved without the Holy Ghost.
Yeah, it's like being saved without the Holy Ghost.
Like having half of Jesus.
Yeah, so intimacy, it's. Let me put it like this. So you were saying when we were dating.
Hey, Mr. Ernest, we keep it the PG.
You said when you were dating that we didn't have any intimacy, or you didn't have intimacy.
No, I can be honest. When we were dating, compared to now, how I am, I was horrible at showing affection.
So it's affection. But I'm talking about intimacy.
I was horrible, period.
Okay.
Compared to how I am now, I've learned a lot. And that one thing too, man, don't be afraid to admit where you got to work it. But I've learned a lot.
Yeah.
Over the past couple of, since we've been married, I've learned a lot as it pertains to intimacy and affection.
Right.
Like I said, I was dry. Literally, I was a bump on the log.
I wouldn't say you that bad.
No, well, compared to how I am now,
right?
Yeah, I was terrible.
Right.
I'm great at myself. So
Okay.
You're great for me. I'm sure you're going to be lenient, but for me, I was terrible when it came to affection and intimacy. I was horrible with it.
Okay. So for me now, intimacy was not more so my strong
Lexi,
suit.
you got to go back and look at it. I'm sorry, we can't. I'm sorry.
We're talking about affection, intimacy, and sex. Do you think they're important in a relationship? And if so, how vital is it to you? But for me, affection is a strong suit, but intimacy was, I would say, mediocre for me. You know what I'm saying?
But
I'm great at myself now.
Yeah,
I'm great at myself. But when we were dating, it was the same as versus when we're married now.
But I was a little different because we had two different type of dating backgrounds.
Yeah, we had two totally different. Yeah, and that's what I was getting to, because see, for me, I wasn't so honest as a girl, and I did more things. And as TJ was talking earlier, a lot of girls were playing the game. And so I was one of those girls that were playing the game. And I'm not ashamed of my testimony, but that's just what it is.
Deliver us.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I was just that one that played the game. So I wasn't, when it came to intimacy, that wasn't it. And during that time, my mindset really wasn't on affection. Even though I knew how to be affectionate, I chose not to. Yeah. It was all about the sex for me. And so the thing is, sometimes some people, it's all about the sex for them. And some people, that's their mindset. And then for some people, that is how they were raised up. That was how they were brought up. Their environment they were in, they were all about the sex, because they were never shown affection. They never seen what intimacy is about, or, because you really can't teach intimacy, because if somebody's teaching you intimacy, there's something wrong in that picture.
Pedophile,
something really wrong in that picture. But intimacy though, it think about it in your relationship, because I know a lot of people, we're not going to get as transparent when getting to this part, because like I said, intimacy is mainly for couples. With your spouse, take time out to see, do like a radar, like we do a check. We always do a check on each other. Am I pleasing you? Am I doing right by you? What can I do to make you feel better? Just don't assume that your skills that you got them there that far, and so everything is okay. No. Because
your skills may have worked 2 years ago, but your skills may be outdated.
Yeah, and a lot might have changed. For some women, they've had babies, so their bodies have changed. Their emotions have changed. Their sex drive has changed.
Sometimes their drive is in part.
Yeah, their drive is in part. And that's a whole nother discussion that I do want to talk about one night. because what happens when your
Men
spouse,
and
men and women, what happened when your spouse sex drive is gone? Like they don't want to have sex.
What happens when he can't get up like Jesus did on the third day?
You stupid.
Then you got to make a different. You got to make different type of.
But that's where intimacy and affection comes in. Because if you don't have intimacy and affection, and he can't get up, or he can't rise to the occasion.
Thank you.
And sex was the only thing that was keeping you.
What's the Baptist punchline? Early one Sunday morning.
But seriously, that's the thing. That's the thing. Sex cannot just be the only thing that keeps you in a relationship. That I think that's the thing.
Sex is flings.
Sex really is sex is flings. So the thing is, find out, do y'all have intimacy in y'all relationship? Is there intimate moments? Check with your spouse, check with your mate. Are you having intimate moments? Is it there? You know what I'm saying? Like I said earlier, intimacy is not just the physical touch, but it's doing intimate things with each other. Like I said earlier, if TJ runs me a bubble bath, that's intimate for me. You know what I'm saying? So, or a massage, those type of things. Some people get intimate on an intellectual level. Like some people literally get turned on about somebody's brain, like just kicking knowledge, being so intelligent. Like some people really love that thing, So, there's different types of intimacy.
Yeah, one of the things with Sherrie that turns her on is she likes to see me in my element of music.
Yeah. Like a woman loves to see their man in their vein. I think that's like, like when you say, when you're a dad and the child doesn't, you stick out your Superman chest or whatever. It's like that for a woman. She wants to stick out her Superwoman chest and like, yeah, that's my man. It's a thing. For
the men up here, what causes you to stick your chest out as it pertains to your wife? Like what's that thing that like, as it pertains to your wife?
Yeah. So for those that are up here, but that's the thing, to see it's a great vein to see you in, but then, there's affection, there's intimacy. Okay, now there's sex. Sex, of course, everybody knows what sex is. Sex is sexual intercourse. It could be a variety of things. But the thing is, can sex include affection? Can sex include intimacy? Does sex need affection? Does sex need intimacy? Or can you have all of that without it?
Does sex need intimacy?
Yeah.
No, sex need two
willing bodies.
Sex need two participants.
Two willing bodies.
Two participants. It needs two participants.
Oh, you so silly. But the thing is, I think it all leads into each other. When you're in a relationship, I think honestly it's very important that you have affection and that you have intimacy, because the affection leads to intimacy and intimacy leads to sex, which makes it more powerful.
If it's done the right way.
It is made powerful.
And it lasts longer. It lasts beyond the orgasm.
It lasts beyond the orgasm, because it's not just, I'm just not having sex with you. Some people say I'm making love, but that's not the only thing that sustains this relationship. It's not the only thing that sustains this relationship.
And I would equate it to, it's like your relationship with God. Once you get saved, you have to do more than just accepting Christ. Once you get saved, you got to study his word. You got to pray. You got to fast. You got to do all those intimate and affectionate things,
right,
in order to build your relationship with Christ.
Right.
Then the Holy Ghost comes in and all that stuff, which makes it even better.
What makes it powerful. And if God really blesses you, you procreate.
Yes.
And that's a manifestation of your love. That's a manifestation of your affection and your intimacy and your sex.
That's both spiritual and natural.
Exactly. You birth something. And so that's the thing. I think we lost some people. We may be a little ready off for some people.
It's fine.
But
we said we won't step along the way.
Yeah, we said we won't step along. But that's the thing. I really just wanted to hear your thoughts. I wanted to hear your thoughts on what did you think about affection, intimacy, and sex in your relationship. If you have not discussed this, if you're dating, engaged, or married, and you have not sat down and just really discussed your affection for each other, your intimacy levels with each other, what you expect, and
what you like and what
you like and what you don't like. These things need to be discussed because it's important too. A lot of people don't want to talk about this in a relationship, but it's important that you discuss these type of things because, like I said, you change, you evolve. What you wanted at 20, you won't want at 30. You know what I'm saying? And what if your spouse sex drive gets greater, like it increases and
like they need it every day.
They need it every day. And you know what I'm saying?
Once a month.
And all you want is just to be held. You just hold me,
Then you got to come up with alternatives.
I mean, like it can literally, sex without affection and sex without intimacy can literally tear a marriage apart. And people don't believe that. People don't think that happens, but it does.
Because he loves me. She loves me.
Yeah. Love encompasses all of it. You have to have some type of connection, emotional connection, mental connection, you know what I'm saying? Not just a sexual connection. It all has to intertwine in order for it to have a solid foundation and be built upon.
Praise the Lord.
Yeah. So I mean, do you agree? Do you don't agree?
Yeah. I definitely agree.
Because
all three.
Because I think honestly, in our relationship right now, I think we have all three, and it's very important to me. I didn't give my opinion earlier, but to me, it's very important that we have affection and intimacy and sex, and that we communicate about how we like it, how we want it, when we want it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just talking about just sex. I'm talking about the affection as well, because some people don't like affection. You'd be surprised how many married couples or someone has a spouse that's not affectionate. You know what I'm saying? Or you have a spouse that doesn't like to get intimate. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not just talking about sex. So some of y'all bring your mind in. It's all three. And so the thing is, what if your spouse don't want kisses from you? What if your spouse don't want to hold your hand in public? What if your spouse don't like the fact that you ran them a bubble bath? I mean, get it? You know what I'm saying? Like, really, there are some people out there and they're scared to discuss it. They're embarrassed to discuss it. But I think this is something that needs to be discussed because you need to know how important affection is and intimacy is, because there's some people who are suffering and it literally is an underlining tear in the marriage.
Yeah. How can your relationship get stronger if you don't talk about the areas that need to be worked on?
George said Trevia and I really love each other a lot. Round 3. we have all three in our relationship. So I mean, that's the thing. It's very important. I think it's very important. So I think this was a great topic.
That was good.
Yeah.
We didn't go in as
detailed.
Yeah.
As some thought we might have been. But
for those men that stayed on, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
So yeah.
So with that being said, once again, next week, guys, June 13th, at 9 p.m. here on Thursday Love.
Yes.
I will be having a Father's Day segment.
It's his first Facebook Live by himself.
But it's gonna be a Father's Day segment. It's gonna be a time that we're gonna dialogue with men about what we like, what we don't like, some of our failures, just different things about that men go
just
through.
Talk about. Yeah.
I'm just gonna talk. So please, man, if y'all not busy, if you are busy, still join in and connect with us. All right.
Yeah, and don't forget, once again, for those who can support us, whether it be through prayers, through actual physical donations or monetary donations, we ask that you be a blessing to Thursday Love. We cannot do this without you because, like I said earlier, Danielle was up here. She's doing her first family conference. It's I Chose Them Family Conference, June the 21st and June the 22nd. And it's our very first workshop. Right. So for those, if God laid upon your heart to sow a donation of any amount, do it to Cash App Thursday Love, $ Thursday Love, or if not, PayPal. If not, just see us in person and hand it to us. But just be a blessing, and if not, pray for us because we're excited about what God is doing. He said, "Do not despise small beginnings," and we're so grateful the journey that we have been on. And to be honest, this weekend, June the 8th, Thursday Love will be 2 years old.
And June 18th, 10 years for us.
Yes!
So
June 18th is my birth anniversary.
Yeah, that's our anniversary. Yeah.
It's my birth anniversary.
It's our birthday too.
Yeah. Yay.
One gift.
Yay. I don't care. It's my birth anniversary. My birth anniversary.
So with that being said, hey, Savage, I want to know what your availability is too, man, for next Thursday.
Yeah.
But I'll hit you up in the inbox or a text, one or two. So once again, thank everybody, man, for staying up here with us. We really appreciate it. Thank you guys for taking your time out, each week, man, to come up here, because we don't take this lightly.
We love your support.
Yeah, because you guys could be doing plenty of things. Thank you, Norma. We love y'all too.
I love you, Norms.
What's up, DJ? Man, you came in great time.
Hey, DJ.
Y'all came in at the end.
Go back and play it.
Go back at the end
and share it.
Check us out.
Share it.
So once again, man, we thank you guys for joining. Like I said, we don't take this lightly. You can be doing anything, but you decide that this time on Thursdays is important. So thank you guys once again. We're going to see, the men, I'm going to see y'all next week. So ladies, hit us up. Join in just to see what the men got to say.
I get to chill.
All right. Thanks, George. All right. You guys have a great night.
Love y'all. Have a great weekend.